Okay. I force the window up, inhaling deep breaths of clean air from outside. My feet shift through the garbage on the floor, and I unearth a tin coffee pot and fill it at the sink. The stove isn't completely out, and I manage to coax a few live coals into flame. I pour some ground coffee into the pot, enough to make sure that the resulting brew will be good and strong, and set it on the stove to boil. Hamish is still dead to the world. Since nothing else has worked, I fill a basin of icy cold water and dump it on his head and spring out of the way. A guttural animal sound comes from his throat. He jumps up, kicking his chair 10 feet behind him, wielding a knife. I forget he always sleeps with one clutched in his hand. I should have pried it from his fingers, but I have a lot on my mind. Spewing profanity, he slashes at the air for a few moments before coming to his senses. He wipes his face on his shirt sleeve and turns to the windowsill where I perched, just in case I need to make a quick exit. "What are you doing?" he sputters. "You told me to wake you an hour before the cameras come," I say. "What?" he says. "Your idea," I insist. He seems to remember. "Why am I all wet?" "I couldn't shake you awake," I said. "Look, if you wanted to be babied, you should have asked PETA." "Ask me what?" Just the sound of his voice twists my stomach into knots of unpleasant emotions like guilt, sadness, and fear, and longing. I might as well admit it, there's some of that too. Only it has too much competition to ever win out. I watch PETA cross to the table, the sunlight from the window picking up a glint of fresh snow in his blonde hair. He looks strong and healthy, so different from the sick, starving boy I knew in the arena. You can barely even notice his limp now. He sets a loaf of fresh baked bread on the table and holds out his hand to Hamish. "Asked you to wake me without giving me pneumonia," says Hamish, passing over his knife. He pulls off his filthy shirt, revealing an equally soiled undershirt, and rubs himself down with the dry part. PETA smiles and douses Hamish's knife in the white liquor from the bottle on the floor. He wipes the blade clean on his shirt tail and slices the bread. PETA keeps all of us in fresh baked goods. I hunt, he bakes, Hamish drinks. We have our own way to stay busy, to keep thoughts of our time as contestants in the Hunger Game at bay. It's not until he's handed Hamish the heel that he even looks at me for the first time. "Would you like a piece?" "No, I ate at the Hob," I say, "but thank you." My voice doesn't sound like its own. It's so formal. Just as it's been every time I've spoken to PETA since the cameras finished filming our happy homecoming and we returned to our real lives. "You're welcome," he says back stiffly. Hamish tosses his shirt somewhere into the mess. "Brrr! You two got a lot of warming up to do before showtime." He's right, of course. The audience will be expecting a pair of lovebirds who won the Hunger Games, not two people who can barely look each other in the eye. But all I say is, "Take a bath, Hamish." Then I swing out the window and drop to the ground, head across the green to my own home. The snow has begun to stick, and I leave a trail of footprints behind me. At the front door, I pause to knock the wet stuff off my shoes before I go in. My mother's been working My mother's been working day and night to make everything perfect for the cameras, so it's no time to be tracking up her shiny floors. I barely step inside when she's there holding my arms as if to stop me. Don't worry, I'm taking them off here, I say, leaving my shoes on the mat. Mother gives an odd, breathy laugh and removes the bag of game loaded with supplies from my shoulder. It's just snow. Did you have a nice walk? Walk. She knows I've been in the woods for half the night. Then I see a man standing behind her in the kitchen doorway. One look at his tailored suit and surgically perfected features, and I know he's from the capital. Something's wrong. It's more like skating. It's really getting slippery out there. Someone's here to see you, says my mother. Her face is too pale, and I can hear the anxiety she's trying to hide. I thought they weren't due until noon, I pretend, not to notice her state. Did Cinna come early to help me get ready? No, Katniss, it's... My mother begins. This way, please, Miss Everdeen, says the man. He gestures down the hallway. It's weird to be ushered around your own home, but I know better than to comment on it. As I go, I give my mother a reassuring smile over my shoulder. It's probably just more instructions for the tour. They have been sending me all kinds of stuff about my itinerary and what protocol will be observed in each district. But as I walk towards the door of the study, a door I have never been seen closed until this moment, I can feel my mind begin to race. Who's there? What do they want? Why is my mother so pale? Go right in, the capital man says, who has followed me down the hallway. I twist the polished brass knob and step inside. My nose registers a conflicting scent of roses and blood. A small white-haired man seeming vaguely familiar is reading a book. He holds up a finger as if to say, "Give me a moment." Then he turns, and my heart skips a beat. I'm staring into the snake-like eyes of President Snow.
Oh, copy. That's awesome.